Hi everyone, welcome to Cognitive Casanova. I'm Ricardo Casanova. The AI industry just had one of the strangest weeks yet. For the last 3 years, the AI industry has sold inevitability, bigger models, bigger valuations, bigger data centers, bigger promises, capabilities that would keep rising and getting better. And the winners would be the companies that moved the fastest. And this week broke that story. Anthropic has been on a roller coaster lately, showing up with the Pope. Then it was revealed that their models would allegedly mislead or otherwise mess with anyone that was using Claude to build LLM tools or things that could compete with them. And apparently they've walked that back now. And then they launched Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5, framing them as the most capable models yet. My friends seem to fit into two categories. Either they were loving it and token maxing, or they were rate limited almost immediately. Or it would stop engaging if the model felt the discussion was some sort of a risk. And they poured a bunch more money into it just to unlock the rate limiting so they could continue their tasks. And then what I wake up to this morning is their latest models getting pulled down after a US government directive. OpenAI was also hit with a multi-state attorney general investigation and subpoena. Both companies are either IPO bound or preparing the market for a public offering. Now, both have spent years presenting themselves as the responsible frontier lab. Now both are being forced into a different conversation where the question is no longer how powerful the models are, but who gets to use them, who gets hurt by them, who regulates them, and whether enterprise buyers can trust to remain stable after they build around them. Anthropic released Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5. Within days, the US government issued an export control directive, saying foreign nationals could not access those models, even foreign nationals inside the United States, and even foreign national Anthropic employees. Anthropic said the only way to comply with this was to disable the model for everyone. The government cited national security. Anthropic says the concern was a narrow jailbreak involving software vulnerabilities that, there's other models that have the same kind of capability that are publicly available. So yes, commerce being involved can make sense. Export controls often sit inside the Commerce Department through the Bureau of Industry and Security. But the unusual part is this is not just like a chip restriction or data center restriction. This is the government moving toward control over access to the model itself. That's a very different line. And this is the uncomfortable backdrop too. Anthropic was already in a fight with the Trump admin and the Pentagon after refusing unrestricted military use for its models and for things like mass domestic surveillance and fully autonomous weapons. So when a national security order suddenly takes Anthropic's flagship models offline, people are going to start to ask questions. Whether is this a safety thing? Is this a retaliation thing? Is this political theater? Or is it some sort of an ugly mixture of all three? That doesn't mean the conspiracy is proven by any means. But the trust is damaged. And when the trust environment is damaged, every decision looks political. And the world we live in just feels like everything's upside down. So in the short term, every competitor benefits, really. OpenAI, Google, xAI, Meta, Mistral, DeepSeek, Alibaba. Everyone building or selling an alternative suddenly gets an opening. And, if we're being honest, the bigger beneficiary, probably China and open model ecosystems. If American frontier models become politically conditional, the global developers will just go around them. Developers will use, consumers ultimately will use whatever is available, stable, and not gated by your passport. Access is a product feature, and the US just made access super fragile. And for the customers who paid more to use Fable, or upgraded because they needed that capability, it's still sitting there. No answer from Anthropic. They just apologize and says that they'll restore access when they can. Now, OpenAI. So they get hit from another direction. So a coalition of state attorney generals, opened an investigation. OpenAI was reportedly served with a subpoena asking for documents on advertising, engagement, retention, consumer, health data, minors, not the one with the headlamps, seniors, model behavior, and what some of their internal policies are. So this isn't a technical debate anymore. This is very much consumer protection. And I've been saying this for years. We need to be pragmatic, deliberate, and have proper guardrails. But here's where they got it wrong. Instead of guardrails around what some of these profit conglomerates can do, or regulatory bodies catching up and providing guidance and certainty, the LLMs turned around and pushed the guardrails down onto the consumers, onto their customers. They did it ass backwards, and this is the result. And here's what executives should take from this. Don't stop AI projects, but stop treating the model as the strategy. The model ultimately is a dependency. So whether you're a developer or an executive in an enterprise, the model is a dependency. The strategy is the operating system around it's the regular stuff: vendor risk, data governance, audit trails, human review, fallbacks, especially when it comes to models. What's your legal exposure? And most importantly, what's your business continuity plan? If Anthropic's top model can disappear overnight because of a government order, then every enterprise needs that fallback plan. And if OpenAI can be subpoenaed over user harm and consumer data, then every enterprise needs an audit trail. Who used it? What data went in? What did it say? Who approved the final decision? What happens when access disappears? The AI industry spent 3 years telling enterprises to just trust us, bro. And this week showed why enterprise can't. They need to trust the system around the model first and do their due diligence. The era of AI inevitability is kaput. It's over. What we're moving into now is the era of AI accountability, and it looks a little bit messy. There's going to be more to come on these cases, so follow, like, and comment below to stay in the loop. Let me know what you think. This was bonkers to wake up to.